so 7:08, we'll call the meeting to order.
Okay.
The previous minutes from January and February, I did take a look at them. Yep, I mean, for the sparse notes that I took, they look directionally correct to me.
Okay.
So I don't remember there being anything that I needed to try to comment on. So, you know, in the review that I had done for him. So I guess I'll just say I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January and February.
Okay, I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Alrighty, look at those posted.
So from a director's standpoint, like, so I think the concert piece is kind of locked in and done, right?
Yeah. So I've got all the yeah, everybody's signed on to dates. I have 8 concerts. So I've got the Beatles one this
Yep.
fiscal year. So that
Yep.
cost is taken care of. I negotiated with them to accept what we had. And then the remainder were booked and some of the contracts are coming back signed. So I think we're all
Yeah.
set there.
Yeah, good.
We've got money left over for next year. And one issue with that is that I pinged the guy. He was supposed to set up a School of Rock thing. This
Yep.
guy, Philip Reagan, and he sponsored us last year.
Sure.
So I pinged him again this year in case we did need sponsorship. But
Yep.
From my point of view, if we got his sponsorship this year, we basically wouldn't use the money, in my view,
But
because
would that allow us to roll over dollars? Like, so I don't remember where the dollars came from. Will that allow us to roll over monies for that first one next year?
it will, but we already have almost $1,800 in there. So even like $700 would cover the Beatles band, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess like my question was, do I ask him for getting up to that level for the Beatles band for June next year? Or do I ask him instead of because he said I'd be happy to provide a sponsorship again, but he would want to do it anonymously. He
Yep.
didn't, the School of Rock thing didn't take off. But he specifically mentioned he's in something else now, but he said, you know, he specifically mentioned I'd be happy to contribute to the concerts again this year.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask him if he would be interested in sponsoring Kids at Play activities instead. So I wanted to get people's view on that.
Yeah. So, and as much as I'd say cool, so let's come back to that one in a minute. I'm gonna sidebar.
Okay.
So I did meet with select board on Tuesday to talk about finances, right?
Okay.
For the fiscal year 28 stuff. And you know, I actually started with the appropriated accounts because those are the ones that are actually line items on the budget.
Right.
Right. Not that recreation isn't and the parks one isn't, but those being revolving accounts is a zero-sum game, and technically the towns don't put anything into those.
Right.
So it's a matter of public record, but you know, nothing that we're asking for funds to cover. So
Right.
the other 3 are so when we talked about concerts, I was asked specifically whether or not there are grants and or other donation things that could be used to lower that $9,000 amount. Just because they're, you know, we're tight on budget. And apparently, you know, the schools overspent. BVT was very small. I think Nipmuc was or the Mendon Upton School District in general was well over.
Mhm.
And, obviously based on the winter we had, a lot of DPW's snow removal cost is
Right.
obviously well over as well. So,
Yep, yep.
they understand it. We know that we're gonna need kind of an override to kind of cover monies already spent type thing.
Mhm.
Hence, they're they're saying, hey, you may not think maybe like $1,000 goes anywhere, but $1,000 here and $1,000 there does help. So if
Mhm.
there's a way of us being able to take our $9,000 number for concerts down to 8, that would be tremendous. So,
Okay.
so so I'm saying that with they didn't disagree with any of the numbers per se. They just
Mhm.
went, if there's an opportunity that we could lessen some of those numbers a little bit, it would be, extremely helpful. So
Mhm.
wrap that back into the conversation that you were just having, saying, okay, if he is willing to do something, if it's 500, 800, 1,000 per se, right?
Mhm.
I feel funny to ask for maybe more than 1,000, but if he was able to do up to 1,000, then that's that's 1,000 off a dedicated line item that we've been tracking.
So that would be, that money would apply to this summer's concert funds. Is
It
that is
would,
that what you're
it
saying?
would, yeah. So it would apply to this like post, you know, to
Post, yeah,
a
July.
July plus window, not
Okay.
the pre-June window.
Okay. So I should pursue that with him then.
I would like to, and probably keep it in that concert realm instead of branching it
Yeah.
out to like a kids at play where,
Yeah, he might not
even,
be. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and quite honestly, where that one's a revolving account and the town's not necessarily putting any money in, I'm not so sure whether or not that's where we've always gotten into a little bit of, hey, how much do we really end up doing with, um, um, with the town, and how much is real, someone's got a
All
donation,
right.
how do we bring in those dollars? I think sponsoring sponsoring a concert, sponsoring,
Mm-hmm.
I probably even a field trip is it'll probably get tricky. But I think a concert one is much easier only because
Yeah.
it's a designated account.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, last year he donated 1,500, and I'm
Oh,
assuming
okay.
he'd probably want to keep it at the
Oh,
same level. I don't know that for
it,
sure,
yeah. If
but
he, I,
I'll,
I, I forgot that it was that much. For some reason, I was
yeah.
thinking it was a lower number than that.
No,
So
it was
if it's, hey,
generous.
yeah,
Yeah.
if it's 1,500 and we can go back to the town and say, hey, we believe we've got a donation for a concert coming in at $1,500. We can take that 9K and reduce it down to 7.5. I think the town would be extremely happy with us.
Yeah. And like I said, right now on the books for the summer, we're underspent of that 9,000 by, I think, 17 or 1,800 bucks. So
Yeah,
there's that
yeah,
plus sponsorship, would essentially cut back on our expense from the town, from the
yeah,
appropriation. Okay, so I'll ask
yeah.
him about that.
Okay,
The other sponsorship that we got last year was from Unibank
right.
for the concert series, and that was 1,000.
Yep,
I've asked them for 1,500
yep,
for sponsoring Kids at Play bus fares field.
yeah,
I wrote that proposal and I
yep,
sent it in because I thought, I mean, I sent it in early because I thought he would be getting it in the last Thursday of last month's board meeting at Unibank, but I think it's
yeah.
going to be probably this next meeting from his board. Um,
Okay,
but I mean, I talked to him. I went over to Unibank and talked with him, and he seemed pretty optimistic that we could get it. And
oh, okay,
he said, put in, you know, I think their sponsorships like this are generally for 1,000, but he said, put in what you think. And, if it's 1,500 and we cut it back to 1,000, then that's fine. So, um,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, so he'll get back to me. I pinged him again after the last proposed board meeting that they were supposed to have, and he said he would get back to me. I don't think it went into that board meeting. I
Yeah,
think
okay.
it's going to go into this month's.
This month's, yeah. Okay,
Yep. Okay.
all right. All right, cool.
So
Um,
so for the Philip guy, I would have him make the check out to the town ASAP or whenever. I don't have to wait until after July 1st, do I?
I don't, I don't necessarily think you'd have to, but we may want to hold off on. Well, let's not have it here in like April because then Kenny might think we're playing games, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd ask that we probably ask for something to come in, even if it's, even if it's in June, knowing that it's for, kind of
Mhm.
fiscal year 28 concert
Okay.
series, right? Type of stuff. Since he's already done one for feasibly the 27. I don't know when that money came in and when it hit to the point where we can say, oh, that was definitely in this one and it hit fiscal year 26 or it hit fiscal year 27,
Yeah,
right? I'm hoping
yeah.
it hit 27 and then we can have this one hit 28.
Yeah, I didn't see, I mean, I think we discussed this before. Maria and I don't understand how that money came in and where it went.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
he's,
with you because I'm not 100% sure that I saw something there either. So,
yeah,
whether or not that actually came into us or it went,
at the
so
town
I
or
don't know.
something. I
I
don't know.
I think that that's one of those. I think I'm gonna this time around when that check comes in and we create the voucher to accept it and get it deposited.
Yeah,
Um, I want whether it be you know if you sign off on that voucher, then great. Or
yeah,
Maria signs off on it and sends it through. I want to know because I want to start watching for it to see
track it.
when does
Yeah,
that actually hit in Vadar.
yeah, yeah.
So obviously I do have Vadar. Well, so I have the I have the account information to be able to log into
Hmm.
Vadar. So
Okay,
um, so hence that's how I had gotten some of the information in terms of some of the financials and that.
right.
Um, I didn't, and I'll admit I didn't do ones for this month. I didn't know if Maria had an opportunity to get to those and had them in her piece.
Hmm.
Um, just this is kind of the crazy schedule time
Yeah,
soccer
yeah.
wise,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
1200
sure.
games that I've got going on schedule
Oh,
wise.
is that all?
Uh, never, yeah,
Jeez.
never mind our fields getting,
Yeah,
somewhat shut down and, that the whole saga that's going to become,
yeah,
Tetris 101 for
yeah,
town of Upton Field. So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
um,
Okay.
okay. But
All right.
I
So
do want to
I'll
track it because I want to see
yeah,
where it goes, which account it goes into, and or if we never see it, then I want an explanation of okay, where did it go?
yeah, exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Is it
Okay.
did we write the wrong account number on it and someone put it somewhere else? Right? And
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I want to make sure that I watch it go through the spigot.
Okay. Yeah, and the Unibank one going towards um the field trip
Yep.
expense.
Yep.
We haven't priced the field trips out yet, right?
I don't think so.
I didn't see anything.
So I know that the list is out there now of which ones we were planning on going to.
Right.
And you're right. I don't, I think we're probably need an offline meeting to make sure we go through the costs of those and then, make
Yeah,
sure that we have I mean, I think we've got a general formula for the cost breakdown and then what to do for the
yeah,
charges. However,
yeah.
um, the one thing that I'm going to state is, I think last year we doubled up on a couple of those field trips.
Mhm.
Like, I think we had 2 buses that went to like Breezy Water Park,
Yep.
which, you know, at the end of the day, is that a great service to the town and the kids that want to go? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Are we taking in the money to cover that cost? Absolutely. However,
Mhm.
that's also part of the reason why, the spend number is up as well,
Mhm.
right? It
Yeah.
doesn't, we may have the revenue number for it, but the cost number for that, also jumps with it when we make those types of decisions.
Right.
And I'm okay with it, but I think it's just one of those. I think we have to keep some of those in mind because even there we kind of went, okay, we spent more than what our budgeted amount, agreed upon amount was.
Mhm.
And we need to make sure we're doing a better job tracking. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. And I think,
I mean,
yeah. And I think the field trips won't be posted for registration with the parents until after the next Unibank board meeting anyway. So if they give us $1,000, we can factor that into what we're gonna
yeah,
charge for the field trip.
yep,
So, okay, all right,
yep.
good.
All right, sounds good. All right. Let's see. So, maybe circling back around just to finish on the concert. So it's good.
Hmm.
We're getting all the back in place. So I think we're
Hmm.
good there. Obviously from the quick marketing piece, the thing was in the free press. So,
Hmm.
uh, or ready and, being there. So, I haven't looked, I should actually look, to see if that spiked any numbers.
No, I think it
Um,
was like three. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
Yeah, it came out,
it,
I think, 3
yeah,
days ago. So there may be a lag.
yeah, true. It was just more of a, if, we get, let's see, programs, uh, kids at play numbers. So I did send a message to Maria, just so you're aware, and
Hmm.
I realize that that this is recorded. However,
Hmm.
um, I did ask Maria if she can validate the numbers for me because I think she had talked about it was like 200 and something numbers,
Hmm.
which I know was there and I know was presented, but I did want to ask about that because honestly, I see like 19 individual kids signed up. Now, those 19 are over various weeks.
Hmm.
However, at the time, I think I was only seeing like 11 or 12.
Okay.
So, it was just one of those, I'm like, ooh, wait a minute here. So, but I do see some new ones from the 12th and the 16th of this month. So,
Hmm.
the 12th, yeah, maybe that's not exactly right,
It's
but
too early. Yeah.
that
16th
was too
maybe.
early, but some on the 16th, so some on Monday. So
Hmm.
that very well could have been the case.
Yeah, and I think we figured if even if it boosts us with a couple of kids, that's the cost of the ad anyway. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but I mean, the other
Totally with
question I
you.
had around that is with regard to advertising is I talked with the woman Suzanne Odell, who's the marketing person for the Upton Mendon Free Press, but she also
Yep.
covers the Hopkinton Independent and
Oh,
one somewhere else, and those ads are similar cost. So one question I had, and maybe Maria could help with this as well, is should we pursue advertising in Hopkinton? Should we pursue advertising also in they also have a version of this paper in Northbridge area, which is adjacent to pretty much adjacent
mhm.
to Upton. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
should we do some other and maybe Milford even?
I think, well, so I think Mendon, Upton, Milford are probably all within hours, right? So, um, I think the Northbridge one would be beneficial.
Mhm,
Uh, I, because we do get kids from Whitensville or Northbridge,
right,
um, you know, and I think putting that out there a little bit more, because I'm not aware of something that they have, right?
right,
I
right.
don't think that they have a town beach per se.
No, yeah,
So something that's at the beach and some of them might actually be driving by isn't a
mhm,
bad thing. So,
yeah,
so doing that there, the Hopkinton side, I don't, well, I could probably go back and try to take a look and run a report just to see, you know,
yeah,
do we really get anybody from Hopkinton that comes this way? I'm not sure
yeah,
we do. And
probably not.
that one I'd have a tougher time. I mean, from a cost perspective, it's probably peanuts to something else that they have within town, right?
Yeah,
Ours is probably a cheaper, uh, or I shouldn't say cheaper, a less expensive option for them should they
mhm,
be able to come this way that little bit. So,
yeah,
um, so it's not necessarily a bad idea. Um, we'll just have to, we'll just
yeah.
have to see where that
I
goes.
mean,
Yeah.
I think the Northbridge one makes more sense because Hopkinton, most of the people in Hopkinton are probably just hopping on 495 right there. In
Yep.
Northbridge, they're coming through Upton to get
Yeah.
to that artery. So I'll
Yep.
look into the cost for Northbridge. I'll ask Suzanne about that. We can run basically the same ad.
Yeah.
It'll probably be
Yeah. And
the same cost.
if we have, and if we have it with, maybe a little bit of a different splash, with kind of locking in. Actually, now I forget, did that have what the field trips are planned to be?
It had examples of what the field trips
Yeah,
are. I put for the picture part, I put a few of them in. And then for the text part, there may have been a couple more. So
okay,
I don't think it was 100% nailed down when I submitted
yeah,
the ad, but we can actually, I mean, we can change the text and change the picture
yeah, yeah, yeah,
easily,
yeah,
easily.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I just, if we're a little closer on kind of locking all that down, then, I'd
Yeah.
love to put the
Put them
real
all
data
in.
on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Because if like Breezy Acres is still on it, yeah, that's probably a bad thing because we know that they're not. I think we've already been told they're not redoing their um, financial licensing and everything,
Right. Right.
for liability on the slide. So it's
Right.
not supposed to be in operation. So
Yeah. I don't think I
unless
put them
something has
on.
changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. I'll look into the cost and when we need to get the ad in and I'll circulate that
yeah.
to everybody.
Okay.
I think the Northbridge one would make sense. Because I think
I,
it's Northbridge, Whitensville. I can't remember. There are a couple of towns covered by that paper.
Yeah, and I wonder whether or not that one groups Uxbridge into it too.
It might, yeah, it
Yeah,
might. Yeah, I can't
yeah,
remember exactly, but
yeah.
okay,
So,
I'll look into
okay,
that. The other two advertising things is I'll ask Maria, I could pick up the sandwich boards and put them out. I don't think we're gonna get any more feet of snow, so I could put those in the strategic places and at the Upton intersections. And I can also, I gotta stop at the town hall tomorrow anyway and pick up Laura's papers. I could talk to Denise about putting that on the town hall sign that's out
yep,
front.
yep,
So I'll get all that done.
okay, that'd be great.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were sandwich signs up for the quilt BVT's quilting thing this past weekend. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
we I think it started seeing some of those signs
yeah.
kind of
The snow
reappearing
has
a bit.
melted.
So yeah, yeah,
We're coming out of the tundra season, so
yep, yep, exactly.
yeah, cool.
Okay, cool. Um, let's see, on the field side, I did have a meeting with the two athletic directors and Dan Byer on Monday. Um, I think so. So the unfortunate part is I think we have some groups that are um, playing kind of Mendon and Upton against each other a little bit. So,
Mm. Oh,
thinking that we probably don't talk as much as we do. And
mhm.
normally we don't really talk all that much about the field stuff. However, with the schools being shut down,
Yeah.
and both of them are going, the front field. So Nipmuc's going to be shut down all summer.
Mhm.
Um, fields will open up in the fall for them, but they still are tight in the fall. Chris doesn't think he's going to need town support in the spring. So it's really
Mhm.
just a fall thing. And he said, ideally it's just soccer overflow things.
Mhm.
So, he's planning on, trying to leverage um, both Kiwanis a little bit and Grover, which is a field in Mendon a little bit,
Mhm.
to leverage kind of the preseason stuff while he knows, most of those fields are going to be offline.
Right.
So, and like the school things aren't going to be up. So,
Right.
um, uh, we've gotten, we've gotten a bunch of other requests though, right? So football's one that's been playing, they've been asking on both sides. So Dan and I think that Mendon actually has a plan to allow them to use a different field in Mendon, into the summer, for the summer and fall. So
Mhm.
I think that that's going to be the way that they're going to end up going. Um, although what I'm nervous about is I think that there's four different like football group things.
Mhm.
There's a regular football thing with cheer things and stuff that go on, and I think there's a touch football thing, and there's some other fast flex thing or something
Mm.
else. So I think that there's a number of different things that are active, and it's really just a matter of going, okay, can we, so I'm trying to reach out and go, can we get a clean sheet of all that is in terms of football? I realize different people might be the masters and the leaders of this thing, but
Mhm.
can we really get back and consolidate all those things, and what exactly is the ask on the table? So
Right.
um, Dan is okay with things going on in the summertime on the Mendon fields, where Dennis usually likes to close things down and give the fields a breather.
Mhm.
So so I think it's just one of those, we just need to make sure that we're somewhat playing by the rules.
Mhm.
Um, but um, I would say um, we still need him to probably give us an answer on what he thinks is going to end up being the proper thing for Memorial School in Leland.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
it's that one being open is or closed is really going to end up being, the major crutch.
Mhm.
Um, if it can be opened and they can do a lot of the weekday practices, that would be fantastic.
Mhm.
Although we do actually have, since Nipmuc will be closed, the women's league who normally plays, I think they've got BVT, Nipmuc, and they usually have Kiwanis. So I think they have like 6 teams, and they all play on a Monday night.
Mhm.
If Nipmuc is going to be closed, which it is, now they're
Mhm.
going, can we use the field at Leland and
Right.
or at Memorial School? Now, if Memorial School's closed, right, because Dennis doesn't
Mhm.
want anybody on it, well, it may end up being one of those. Well, are we talking the main field area, or like is the baseball, softball area open? How is there a way for us to be able to divide it a little bit so that the
Mhm.
main piece maybe gets a breather, and it gets the repairs it needs during the spring, but
Mhm.
we're gonna need it to be open in the fall. right? I mean,
Right,
it's just, it is what it is. So,
yeah,
uh, um, so we're kind of working through all that.
okay.
And I mean, it's going well. We think we've mapped out some stuff so that everybody gets gets a place.
Uh-huh.
But we also got a couple new things just coming out of the woodwork.
Right.
There's a person that's asking for the field Saturday and Sunday mornings from 9 to 12.
Hmm.
Just for, it's an individual from Northbridge. I mean, they're just looking
Yeah,
to, you know,
right.
use it for soccer purposes, but it's not going to be available. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
so unfortunately, there are some of them that we're going to have to reject, and we just don't have the space for them to be able to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, because I know
Mm.
Kiwanis, the lacrosse folks, and I think I had mentioned this in the last meeting, the lacrosse folks who normally use Leland, I think we've got them figured out of being able to use Kiwanis
Right.
in addition to soccer, and we've had the communications going on there. So I think we've
Hmm.
we've got that all planned out now,
Right,
assuming that Memorial will be closed.
right, right. And Leland is, I think from the last meeting, I thought that was likely to be questionable,
It
whether
is.
that would be open. Yeah, yeah, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So, you know, so part of where I'm going with that though is, so I can envision how the field is shaped. There's kind of the section where softball, kind of behind the tennis and basketball courts,
Hmm.
kind of has a little bit of its own area, which might not be chewed up as much as the main open area on the right-hand side.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
my assumption is it's the area on the right-hand side that's torn up, and
Right,
from foot traffic, from lack of water because the sprinkler systems stopped working and all that,
right,
and they
right,
kind of lost the field. you
right.
know I'm hoping if they're able to do what they need to do, and that can
Hmm.
retake here in the spring, and the majority of the open space part of the field can stay closed, then maybe by just staying off it in the springtime, letting it come in kind of over the summer, it would be ready for the fall type season. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, because I know, there's been a whole bunch of questions that come in. Well, can I get on the Kiwanis soccer field, soccer
All
lacrosse
right,
field? Can I get
right.
on Kiwanis? Like a whole bunch of different groups have asked for the same field at the same time as everyone else,
Mm.
and it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
what are we gonna do? So
yeah. It's an unusual year.
it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be an unusual, like 3 or 4 years,
Okay.
is what it well, in my opinion, of what's gonna end up happening, because I think ideally what's gonna happen is we're gonna overtax some of ours, um,
Hmm.
with some of the high school and other areas that
Right.
were using some school locations and now are back using different town locations.
Yeah.
Some of the town locations are going to get beat up to the point where we're on the town side, we're going to need to take some fields offline and let
You
them spend a little money and let them come back in.
Rehabilitate.
And
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know and
That makes
you know
sense.
it's it's just a matter of being able to, how are we going to be able to turn it appropriately. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Got it.
it's it's gonna I think it's gonna be a little weird for a little bit,
Hmm.
trying to figure it out. Season to seasons might be a little bit different, so
Okay.
it
All
is what
right.
it is.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like it.
um so I did see Dennis was at the meeting on Tuesday.
Hmm.
He was presenting after us on terms of some of the budget stuff, so I
Hmm.
I got to say hi to him quick, but not I didn't get into any
Okay.
details on field
Yeah.
stuff with him.
Okay.
Um, so, um, yeah, other than that though, just trying to think if there's anything else that's going on. Um, I can't, I don't, I can't think of anything else that's open at this point.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I
um,
can't either. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, certainly, Um, I did meet the new town manager because she was obviously at the meeting. So
Mhm.
Maria said, she's been listening in on a lot of the interviews and saying, that our interview process for hiring folks sounded pretty good,
Oh,
right?
good,
And
good.
we had some
Yeah.
good candidates. So
Yep.
she was eavesdropping, through the voices through the door, the side door there.
Oh, good.
Sounded like it was coming through with a positive note, and
Awesome.
um, and I know she asked about some of the field stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and, I think she said, well, yeah, the chair is really the one doing the yeoman's work on that one right now. And
Hmm.
I think she basically said, well, he happens to be, a league leader
All
and
right.
for Central Mass. So he's got a hell of a lot more experience at playing Tetris with fields than I do. So I'm letting him run it. So,
That's
um,
cool.
which, which is definitely the case, right? When you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
30 town programs that all have 2 or 3 fields and
Hmm.
316 teams
Oh,
right now
God.
that we're trying to work through. So I I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
I I know what I'm looking for. So
Too
um
funny.
and oddly enough, as I say that whole thing, Chris, is and then when I do it, and I make it final in a way that it works for the towns, but it works even better for the referees and the referee
Mm,
coverage,
hmm,
right?
hmm.
Because I understand, if you've got a 3-person system for this game, and then a 3-person system's needed for the next game, they're back to back, right?
Yep.
The
Yeah,
the
yeah.
guy the guy that had this spot before me, he used to outsource it to this other guy, and this other guy used to go, "Oh, I got a 3-person system, then I've got this other game in between that only requires one, and then I've got another game after
All
a
right.
third game after that, and that one needs a 3-person system."
All right,
And we're
right.
like, you just
Yeah.
flip those two, so three
Efficiency.
man,
Yeah.
3-man single, right? Like that's not rocket science.
Yeah.
And my assigner is a lot happier these days with
That's
me
good.
doing it. So we'll
Good,
just
good.
we'll just leave it at that. So
Cool.
um, okay. So um, just trying to think if there's anything else.
So do you want me to try
Um,
and ask around to schedule for something for next week just to catch up when Maria's feeling better?
it's probably not a bad idea. I forget. So I know next week, I think one of the things that I kind of wanted to get from her, and maybe she can still give us an update, is she doing those things next week? Right? I think it was next week where the Mass Park and Rec stuff was going on.
Oh,
Um,
that conference?
the
Yeah, yeah.
conference stuff.
That's
Yeah,
right, right.
I think it's next week. So I know she submitted an invoice where, she's, kind of in the club. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yep,
so
yep.
I was assuming that might be followed up with, hey, I'm going to be there for day 1 and day 3 or something.
Yeah. I think that is
Um,
next week. You're right. You're right.
yeah, but I
I'll
don't
see.
remember where that got left off. So
Yeah, I'll see what her availability is then. So either next week or maybe early the following week, we can get caught up.
yeah, because if
And I'll,
there's Yeah,
yeah,
if
I'll
there's
ping,
onesie twosie things that we need to decide, then we can. Yeah.
yeah, I'll ping everybody to find out the availability and get something on the books. Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be great because so hold on, let me see. Monday, Tuesday. Okay. I'll let you know. Monday, Tuesday next week is not good for me.
Okay.
And then the week after, the Wednesday and Thursday, well, actually Wednesday's okay now, but Thursday the 2nd will also be an issue for me. Outside of that, I can probably, wiggle around other things.
Okay. I'll see what Maria says and
Yeah,
Laura and
yeah, because if she's not going to the conference things, then, I'd love to
Yeah.
have something, middle to end of next week, just to, if there's any other things that we need to probably close on.
Close the loops.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Got
Yeah.
it.
So,
Okay.
cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Other than that, I think we're good.
Yeah, I don't think I had anything else to discuss really. So yeah, concerts, advertising, as the stuff I've been trying to get
Yep.
squared off. And yeah, I think we're good.
And budget and field stuff,
Mhm.
yeah, budget, we think we're good, and field stuff, kind of work in progress as
Yeah. Yeah.
they're still coming in. So,
Mhm.
Okay, just
Sounds-
blocking and tackling at this point.
Not an easy job.
Right. So since you got the Patriots shirt on, right? We can do the
That's
blocking
right.
and tackling.
Sounds good. All right. I'll
Cool.
set something up for the coming several days and check with everybody to make sure.
All right.
And
And then maybe the actual, let's see. Do we want to look at the 16th or the 22nd
April.
of April for, a kind of a next normal monthly piece? Maybe we
Yep,
jot
yep.
down, why don't we jot down the 22nd for now?
Okay.
Right, kind of get it back on that Wednesday. Although at some point I know that probably needs to move to a Thursday, but let's say April 22nd at this point, and we'll
Okay.
pencil that one in maybe as the next meeting and
Okay.
see whether or not that works for others.
All right. I'll include that in the ping for the next mini meeting. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Thursdays we don't have to do that until like June when the concert starts. So from what I
Yeah.
understand. So,
Yeah, no, exactly. So,
okay.
but if we wanted to start getting into the rhythm of kind of going, hey, Thursday might end up being better.
Oh, that's
I
fine too.
think
Yeah.
I think it works now. Because I haven't been doing the coaching, which has been Tuesday,
Mhm.
Thursday. So I'm a
Mhm,
little bit, I'm more apt to being available on the Thursday now. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'll check with everybody.
all right, cool.
Get that settled. All righty.
Yep. All right, cool.
Gonna adjourn at
All right. So,
7:51.
7:51. Right. Well, motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All right.
Aye.